Everybody, welcome back to another edition of the True Crime and Wine Couple. Today we're going to be discussing should Gypsy Rose Blanchard and Asa Ellerup be able to profit from their situations. I'm going to put it that way,
That
situations.
sounds good.
My name's Pete. This is Mary. If you want to go ahead and get us started.
Sure. Okay. So we decided we would do a live on whether or not we think Gypsy Rose Anderson, she's Anderson now,
Anderson, yeah.
and Asa Ellerup, the wife of the accused Long Island serial killer, Rex Heuermann, should be profiting from the crimes that, well, in the case of Gypsy Rose, she was directly involved in. Well, not directly involved in, but she was there for it. Let's put it that way. And Asa, there's a lot of speculation out there. Is Asa a victim or is she complicit? Did she know about the kinks but wasn't complicit in the other things? Was she a swinger? Was she part of the swinger parties? Did she know that he frequented sex workers but yet didn't know what was happening to them? So they are some of the things we're going to take a look at. And also then, should Gypsy Rose be able to profit off of her story, which she has a book coming. Yeah, she's got millions of followers on TikTok, and a lot of people are very annoyed with her, and a lot of people are very enamored with her. So that's what we're going to talk about.
Do you want me to start with my thoughts?
You should start. Yes, you
Okay.
you were the researcher for this one.
Okay, so all right, so let's start with Asa, since that's a little bit more cut and dry and more in depth, I think. Asa has not been charged with any crime, so she is free to do whatever it is she wants to do. Now, the New York House of Representatives, I believe, is where this has started. They have proposed a new bill to where the Son of Sam law, which doesn't have a lot of teeth anymore since it was overturned back in 2001. But the Son of Sam law originally for Son of Sam back in the 70s was passed so that David Berkowitz could not profit on anything from his crimes. That law was overturned in 2001 by the U.S. Supreme Court. There were many other states that had similar laws that were also eventually overturned. California being a notable one. Apparently, Frank Sinatra Jr. was kidnapped back in the 70s or the 60s. Actually, I think it was the 60s. And there was a book or a movie coming out, and they said that this fell under this law, that they couldn't publish it or whatever, and it was overturned, and they were able to do that. It's interesting for the New York Supreme Court, or for the New York case for the original Son of Sam law. Simon and Schuster is actually who took the state to the Supreme Court because they wanted to publish a book called Wise Guy, which was being written about mobsters, by a mobster about mobsters. And they won. They were able to publish a book, and it eventually turned into the movie Goodfellas. So there's a little background on that. But anyway, as of right now, Asa's free to do whatever she wants to do because she has not been charged with a crime. However, the New York is now trying to pass a law where that Son of Sam law will also extend to spouses and family members so that they can't do that. But as of right now, that's not in place. Now, my feelings on her being able to do that, fine, let her do whatever she's going to do. I think she is totally implicit. She is totally guilty. She knew about everything. I think she probably helped him. I think she was a recruiter. I think
recruiter?
Well, yeah, like
okay, that's interesting.
Well, when you not so much a recruiter, but when you have another female with you, it's easier to attract other females. They're going to be their defenses are going to be down.
And that has been done in a lot of crimes, most notably Karla Homolka.
Right.
So yeah, okay.
So I think that eventually that's going to come out. I know that they are.
So what you're saying is that she was there to make the sex workers feel safe for going with him, kind of thing?
I don't know.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
okay, gotcha.
I don't think she actually. Well, I don't know. She may have actually
she
helped
was
kill
part of the.
So who knows? But anyway, to further my point, I do think she's guilty, or at least she had some part in this, and I think that's going to come out later down the road. So let her do whatever she's going to do. Let her make her money, because if she gets charged in this, at that point they can attach her and go after her profits, and it'll help the victims. So I don't have a problem with that. Did you want me to get into Gypsy? Or do you want to?
No, I'll address it. Yeah. So that's interesting, because what I did hear about Asa is that she's, they're going to court with her. Believe it or not, this is through 50 Cent G Unit Productions, which I find interesting because I'm, 50 fan back from the 90s. Find me in the club and all that. So what some people are saying is that they're following her because it's going to come out that somehow she is involved. And you're talking TV gold right there. I mean, if they're following her to these trials, and stuff starts coming out that she was complicit in some way, that's going to get really interesting, and that's going to make a lot of money. It's Peacock. It's through Peacock, but it's 50 Cent G Unit Productions. That's going to do I believe it's a doc, right? It's a documentary.
I think so.
My feeling is that at this point, I don't think she should be free to profit. I don't think she should be free to profit until all is said and done. Let's find out. Let everything come out at trial. Let's find out if she was. I know that would negate her getting her money ahead of time. I totally understand that. So I'm going to say two things. I'm going to say, first, I don't think she was complicit. I think she knew about his kinks. I think she knew about the swinging and the sex parties and things like that. But I believe that the sex might not have been kept separate from her, but the murder, I think, was kept. She was in the dark about the murders. Like I said, I think that you should have to wait until the trial's over and see what happens, see what comes out. I also understand, though, why this woman is doing what she's doing. She is not from this country, not a native anyway. She has a special needs son who is dependent upon her. And, she's in a really rough position. Their house got totally trashed. I mean, they cut out their tub. They even took their cat, so I just think that she's doing what she has to do. And I do not think she was complicit in the murders. But I also think that they need to wait, because you never know. But by the same token, of course, they don't want to wait. They want something to come out. So I understand why they're doing that for the profit. So. But in the sake of doing it the right way, to me, it should be over and done with. But that's just my take on it. But I also understand why Peacock would want to follow her in case it comes out. So, yeah. So
I'm going to give you a little pushback.
Okay.
What is the difference between Asa and Richard Allen?
What do you mean? Asa's not accused of anything. Richard Allen.
Exactly. So if she's not accused of anything, why can't she do whatever she wants? There's no law saying she can't do anything. There's nothing on the books that says she can't do anything. She hasn't been accused of anything. She hasn't been proven guilty of anything. I mean, much like right. You're with the Richard Allen, you're like, he's innocent until proven guilty. Right. Why is he sitting in a maximum security prison? Why are they treating him like that if he's still, if he hasn't even gone to trial yet? This is the same situation.
I'm not saying she's
free to do whatever she wants.
She's guilty of anything. I'm saying that I don't think she should be profiting at this point. We don't know.
It's a moral thing, maybe, or a problem, but legally, there's no.
No, you're right. I'm saying morally, I don't think it's right. Okay. I think that the laws should be changed. I do, because you never know until all this stuff comes out, and especially now with all these high-profile cases. I mean, we're totally seeing it in Delphi. Delphi is a perfect example. So much is swept under the rug. We do not know what the heck is going on. We don't know heads from tails in that case. So to me, you just never really know, and it's not over until it's over. A lot of times this stuff doesn't even come out in court. There could be a plea deal. So, in that case, that would be a whole different situation. But I think morally, that's the right thing to do. I understand capitalism. I know we live in a capitalist country. I have been educated, so I understand that. But I'm just saying, morally, I don't know. I guess I'm the kind of person who wants all the answers before I make decisions, I guess.
And my thinking is let her make all her money. And then if she's guilty, she's got to give it up anyway. It'll just be more money.
But then will it go to her children? You know what I mean? Then is it going to go to next of kin?
No, because
if they're not guilty, right?
There's still some portions of the Son and Sam law that are still in place. Now they had to really modify it and make it more generic so that it wasn't just on one thing. It's sort of an all encompassing, and now there's like monetary limits on it, or not limits, but I think it's $10,000. Like once you go over $10,000, all that money has to be reported to. I don't know if it's the federal government or the state government where they're coming out of. Then it goes into a victims fund. I mean, it's
I understand
very
that,
convoluted.
but your question was, if she is somehow found complicit and locked up in the middle of this trial,
then they'll attach her. They'll go after her.
I get all that, but what I'm
profits and
saying
go
is,
to
I
that
think
victims
then,
fund.
so then, yes, but then it should be at some point distributed to his special needs child, in my opinion.
It won't be.
It won't be. I know
No.
it won't be, but it should be.
I know how you, and I know
I'm
why you
talking
feel like
morally,
that.
Yes, and
Yes.
like I am a special ed teacher, and I'm coming from that perspective.
Yes,
so
I understand.
I definitely
that,
have a different perspective on some of these things.
Right.
Where
Yeah, but I think when we get in the real world, I don't think that is going to happen.
Rex, I don't know what you were doing, but you really screwed your family over, dude. You really did. Well, you knew what you were doing.
Oh, he knew exactly what he was doing.
You knew what you were doing, and you probably had a great time doing it too.
And this is going to be an interesting case to follow, because I don't know what Mary feels, but I think there's a ton more out there. I think this is just the tip of the iceberg, and I think it's going to be over multiple states, and I think he's going to get up into that prolific serial killer range.
I agree. He had a long, successful career, sadly, I believe. Yes. And I was thinking he would plead. And that's basically what, believe it or not, he's been corresponding with the happy face killer, Keith Jesperson, in prison. And that's what Keith Jesperson told him to do. He said, plead, you'll get a better deal. But how's he going to plead if his wife is following the trial with Peacock? He's not going to be able to. So, well, at least that $1 million, if she does get it, won't be going to Rex Heuermann's commissary, and he could have his bread without butter. He can continue to do that.
Yes, he can.
Because that was one of the things he complained to Keith Jesperson about.
That was one of his main concerns.
We're very concerned about Rex Heuermann getting his bread with butter.
Yes.
Okay, so that is my thoughts on Rex Heuermann. That is, I got slammed there, but that's okay. I'm used to it.
I warned you.
And I took it well. Okay, so next we got Gypsy.
Next we have Gypsy.
All right, go
I
ahead.
don't know if we're on the same page on this one either.
We shall see.
As far as Gypsy goes, more power to her. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, it's overdone. She's all over the place. If you don't like it, ignore her. If you don't like it, scroll past her. If you don't like it, don't buy her book. But for the hell that woman went through from birth to the day that her mother was killed, there's no describing it. She was put through such torture.
It was torture. Agreed.
Manipulated and felt it, and I honestly feel that she felt that there was no other way out. That woman had her so convinced that everybody was against her, that everybody would have thought she was crazy. They would have locked her up. The police came to their house. They didn't do anything. Doctors didn't do anything.
No, because she had convinced them that Gypsy was mentally incapacitated.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so there would have been no intervention. Anything she said, she was
So her whole world was her mother manipulating her for years. So she doesn't have any sense of anything. But for her, I never thought she should have went to prison in the first place. And for her to be able to profit, make a living, go for it. I have absolutely no problem with her making any money that she can make, however she can make it. And like I said, if you don't like it, scroll past it. Don't subscribe to her TikTok. Don't buy her book. Don't, it's easy to avoid. But, let her do her thing. Mm-hmm. Now, you get in with the husband. I don't know about that whole thing. That's kind of creepy and weird. So I'm not quite sure about that dude, what his motivation is, where he's coming from. It very well may be that he saw an opportunity for some financial gain when she got out of prison. That's
well, as a special ed teacher in Missouri, let's face it, the dude's broke.
Yeah. He drives a nice Cadillac, though.
He drives a nice Cadillac. Yeah. Yeah,
his Cadillac look pretty nice. So that's my thought on Gypsy. I think I'm more power to you. You do you. Go for it.
I agree with you on this one.
Wow.
I agree she was tortured. I don't think she developed properly. She never had a chance to develop. She's not she probably isn't in her right mind. I mean, she's not mentally ill, but she's all those things that were done to her critically affected her development. Now, I do think that they also, if she is going to profit personally, though, she needs to do more philanthropic work as well. I mean, if she's really going to be out there in all her faces and be famous, who knows? I mean, I'm sure that's a stretch. She'll probably be on the D list, I would think. But anyway, speaking of D, yeah, did you see she was talking about how great it was with her new husband? Which
yes,
made me a little nauseous.
Okay,
but anyway,
so
yeah. So I also believe that she should have to do philanthropic work as well. Like not just for her own profit, which she will make her own profit, obviously. But I also believe that she has a great message to send to the world. And I think, mental health in this country is just getting worse and worse and worse. And she has a message to send, not even about factitious disorder itself, but also about child abuse. And she really has a story to tell. And she really, instead of, dancing around on TikTok and talking about how great the D is with her new husband, could be doing some real significant work here to help children all over the world, basically. Because I mean, obviously this has gotten, international attention.
I take my own advice. I scroll past it. I don't listen to it,
Right.
and I haven't read it. Have you heard her speak since she's been out of prison?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Other than the D part?
Yes, I watched some interviews, yeah.
Is she capable of being an advocate for abuse, for mental disorders, for all of that?
I believe if she had a good publicist and she'd been coached through some things, I think she could. She does have a very childlike voice, but to me, that's even the more compelling.
Right.
Here's this woman. She's 30.
She's in her 30s,
kind of frozen in childhood. So she does have something unique to share. To share with the world. And I mean, child abuse is just getting. Hopefully, I know our viewers follow true crime. If you follow true crime, you see all these horrible stories about, child abuse. I mean, Harmony Montgomery's going to go to trial. We just had somebody from Australia, videotape the sexual abuse, the essay of like 7 toddlers, 2 toddlers by like 7 men. Like it's just one crime after another. The crimes against children in this country are just shocking and disgusting and evil. And to me,
these are the ones we know about.
Right, exactly right. Yes, and for everyone, especially with school attendance and things like that, we can't keep track of these kids. They're falling through the cracks. So to me, she has something even greater to share with the world, other than doing her little dances on TikTok and talking about how great her new husband is. And
keep in mind, she hasn't even been out of prison a month.
No, she hasn't.
She still has time.
To
do that.
She is like a child. She's very childlike. I don't think she ever properly developed. Probably prison was the most the girl got a chance to develop. So she kind of is like a 30-year-old child.
Right.
So that's what I think. But yes, I do think she does deserve to. She does deserve to be able to make a living off this, because she doesn't have the skills she would need to have a traditional living.
Right.
You know what I mean? So the education and things like that. Well, she did get an education in prison, but before that, she had no formal education at all. I think it was like up to kindergarten or something, because the mother homeschooled her and then stopped.
Oh, so she wasn't doing any work with her?
No, she had no education. No, she got her education that she got was in prison. So.
Oh, okay. And we will be covering this a little bit more in depth on Gypsy, not the Asa part, but I'm sure Asa will come
Nicholas
up
Godeshan, yes.
with Nicholas, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be covering that a little bit more. But again, please comment. We want to interact with you. We want to hear your thoughts on what we bring up. So please.
I appreciate all the comments we have received. We've both responded to them. We appreciate everyone who subscribed. We appreciate all your likes. Even if you dislike it, it still helps the channel out. And now for the fun stuff, the wine.
Yes, the wine. All right, so for this wine, a little bit different. Normally this is one of our 6th or 7th video.
Normal.
But what we have been doing is showing you wines of wineries that we've been to. This wine that we're drinking today is actually a gift. It's called Rumpus. It's a Sauvignon Blanc out of California. So we got this as a gift. I thought we'd open it up and try it. What do you think? You're the
I'm a
Sauvignon Blanc.
Sauvignon Blanc fan.
Yeah.
It's different than other Sauvignon Blancs. Other Sauvignon Blancs have like more of a fruit forward type of. This is more just dry. It's very reminiscent of a Chardonnay.
Yes.
In my opinion, this is
Without,
more
without
like
the oak.
right. With it, yes, it's like an unoaked Chardonnay.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not. It doesn't have the fruity juiciness that you usually get in a Sauvignon
Right, exactly.
Blanc, in my opinion.
But I actually like it.
Because it tastes like a Chardonnay.
Yeah, because I'm
And
not a
he's
big fan of
Chardonnay
the
fan.
Sauvignon Blanc.
Yep.
But so that is the wine we're drinking today. Again,
And it's
it
from
was,
California?
Yeah, Rumpus from California.
We'd love to get out to California and try some Rumpus wine.
Absolutely, yes. Yes, if anybody knows of this place,
But
let
my
us know.
next planned trip is probably going to be Delphi, Indiana. So it won't be California to taste wine.
Do you have anything else to add?
That's all. Gypsy, you go, girl. Live your life. You've had it rough. You deserve it. When nobody wanted to deal with your mother's ashes, that tells me something about who your mother was.
Exactly. Yeah. Make sure to subscribe, hit that bell so you get notified whether when our next videos are coming out. And yeah, please, as many comments.
We take all the comments. We take positive. We take negative. It only makes us get better.
Yes, we're brand new at this, so any criticism, positive or negative, we will. Well, I guess all criticism is negative, but
I've been a teacher for 32 years, and he's been a manager for over 20. We're very thick-skinned. We can take it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, everybody have a good night.